When Rishi Sunak dethroned Liz Truss, the world breathed a sigh of relief. They thought the UK may finally have some stability, but perhaps Sunak had too little in him or was too late. We will tell you all about it, but before that, if you're a fan of non corporate funded free news and analysis, you've landed on the right YouTube channel. Okay, let's begin. Let's enter the merry world of British politics. The latest round of numbers from Ipsos has the Conservative Party teetering at a cringe-worthy 19%. To put that into perspective, if Tory support were a film, it wouldn't even have got an OTT release. And wouldn't you know it, even the stodgy old telephone-based pollsters are nodding along with the hip online crowd at YouGov. They both seem to think that Reform UK is having a bit of a moment, breaching the 10% mark. At this rate, the Tories are staring down the barrel of an electoral shotgun. Catastrophe doesn't quite capture it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have got some real electoral shenanigans on the horizon with local elections set for the 2nd of May. Now, what of our dear Prime Minister Rishi Sunak if the local elections play out like the horror show the polls predict? The question isn't so much whether he will be replaced, but rather why on earth wouldn't he be? If the Tory ship is sinking, you'd expect the captain to at least consider swimming lessons or a lifeboat. Could the fog of war, or let's be honest, the fog of politics, cloud the inevitable? There are always those nifty excuses about how tricky it is to translate a smattering of local results into a full blown general election forecast. By the time the legendary John Curtis finishes crunching numbers, the nation might have moved on to the next crisis. Yet, the headlines will likely be brutal. Picture this: Sadiq Khan sweeps London, while Andy Street is sent packing in the West Midlands. It's the kind of stark contrast that would make even the most stoic of Tories gulp. And then there is the number of local councillors the Conservatives might lose. They did a bang up job last time, but now, well, let's just say Sunak might end up wearing that difference like a necklace of albatrosses. And if we peek into the constituencies of those cabinet ministers, be prepared for drama worthy of East Enders. In a sense, the Conservative Party might want to brace itself. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and the seat belt sign is definitely on. The end times for Rishi Sunak's reign might be visible on the horizon, looming like a poorly attended garden fete. Let's muse on the scenarios where Sunak continues to captain the HMS Tory Titanic right into the electoral iceberg. Perhaps his MPs, 63 of whom have already packed their bags, have resigned themselves to the inevitable. But remember, the Tory party isn't some flash in the pan startup. It's an old beast that has been limping through British politics since the 17th century. This ancient creature is more survivalist than Bear Grylls. And if that means shuffling the leadership deck yet again, and so be it. Consider the potential of a bitter civil war among the Tories, which could be even more ruinous than the election itself. But here's the kicker: unlike his chaotic predecessor, Sunak is seen as a reasonable chap. If the local elections paint a Sistine Chapel of despair on the Tory walls, he might just tip his hat and bow out, leaving the stage to preserve whatever is left of his political dignity, thereby skipping the agony of a doomed general election campaign and avoiding the need for a dramatic post defeat resignation. Now, imagine Sunak is ready to drop the mic, but the green room is empty, no viable replacements in sight. Who would want to inherit this mess right before an election and not after, with a chance to hit the reset button? Sure, the allure of briefly being Prime Minister might tempt some. Think Penny Mordaunt, Kemi Badenoch, or Suella Braverman, who might not fancy their chances in a long ideological slugfest from the opposition benches. Ultimately, Sunak has had his turn at the wheel, and in a fortnight, we will see if there is any life left in his political strategies or if it's all just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Sunak had one area in which he could have outshone his predecessors: Ukraine. But he tragically chose to be USA's lapdog and Boris Johnson's ideological mentee. And now the UK is completely exposed, like the episode we discussed in this video: the secrets of Bulford Camp.